Hi guys. I wasn't planning on making a video today, but all of a sudden I had an epiphany. This morning I was I was watching a video, and I don't even remember the guy's name. He wasn't a DNRS person or brain retraining or anything like that, but it was about the brain, and it was about how what we think about is what we become. And I'm sure you guys have watched videos about that kind of thing too that isn't related to brain retraining, but it still all boils down to the same thing, that we become what we think about. People have been talking about this for years. There's famous people, I don't have their names on the tip of my tongue or anything, but that have been talking about this kind of thing for years before we ever learned about neuroplasticity or anything. But what we think about is what we become. And even in the Bible, there's a verse that says, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Or it can be said, as a man thinks in his heart, so he becomes. And we know that a big issue that we have is our focus, like focusing on the symptoms, focusing on the problems, focusing on the negative things that are wrong with us or in our life or whatever. And it's all about focus. What we pay attention to is what gets bigger. I've done videos before about magnifying. When we magnify the things that are negative, they get bigger and bigger. When we magnify things that are positive, those things get bigger. So we need to be so careful about what we're magnifying, what we're thinking about. So I thought I wanted to title this video, Why Am I Always Right? And that popped into my head because I just heard on another video I was watching where the guy was talking about how if you're thinking that you're going to get sick or you're going to be in pain if you do a certain thing or eat a certain food, if you're thinking that the outcome is going to be negative, you're thinking about that in advance, you're expecting a negative outcome, you're going to be right. You know, because what we're focusing on, what we're thinking about, we're predicting the outcome already. So if we're predicting a negative outcome, we're going to be right because that's what our brain will produce. And the opposite, if we think about the outcome being positive, then that's what we're going to end up with. It's what we're dwelling on, what we're thinking about. And that's why we do things like the visualizations, because we're imagining ourselves over and over again in different scenarios having a good outcome, being happy, being joyful, being strong, resilient, being safe, being able to eat foods, being able to do physical activities, and we're imagining them in advance so that ultimately when we do them, our brains will already have experienced it mentally, preparing us for when that moment actually comes. Our brains are going to already be trained in a sense that it's going to be a positive outcome. So I just started thinking about that, like, why am I always right? So if we're going to think about negative things and look for a negative outcome in what we're doing, we're going to be right. So the opposite, if we're going to think about a good outcome, that I am going to be able to eat that food and feel great after I eat it and not have any bad reactions, or even if I do, no big deal, it's okay, I'm fine. Or I can take that walk and I'm not going to be in pain, I'm going to feel fantastic, I'm going to be strong and healthy. But if I do have some pain, no big deal, it's just TMS, it's just my brain doing it, so I'm fine. So either way, I'm going to be right. So we need to really be careful what we're going to be right about, what we're focusing on, what we're thinking about, because as a man thinks in his heart, so he becomes. So we have to make sure that we're thinking about the right things because we want to be right, that things are going to be good, that the outcome is going to be good, not that the outcome is going to be negative. So let's really watch what we're focusing on, what we're thinking about, what we're saying, Okay, guys, so just wanted to share that with you because it just hit me all of a sudden, and I wanted to make a quick video that I can refer back to and hopefully will encourage you guys. All right, have a great day.